Have you ever felt like your kindness is a burden? Like the more you give, the less people appreciate it? You go out of your way for others, you offer help, you listen, you support, you sacrifice. At first, people seem grateful. They say thank you. They appreciate your presence. But then something changes. The gratitude fades. The appreciation turns into expectation. And before you know it, your kindness is no longer seen as generosity. It's seen as something they are entitled to. You start noticing small things. A friend who once said thank you now just assumes you'll always be there. A co-worker who used to ask for help politely now just drops work on your desk without even looking at you. A partner who used to appreciate your efforts now expects them, and when you don't meet their expectations, they get upset. And you wonder, how did it come to this? How did my kindness turn into something that makes people respect me less instead of more? It happens so slowly that you don't even realize it at first. Maybe at one point, you thought kindness would earn you love, respect, admiration. That by being the person who is always there, always saying yes, always supporting, you would become someone people cherish. But the problem isn't your kindness. The problem is how people react to it. Because human nature is complicated, and not everyone sees kindness the way you do. Some people see kindness as a gift. They appreciate it, they value it, they reciprocate it. But others? They see it as weakness. They assume that if you never say no, it must mean you don't have the strength to. If you never stand up for yourself, it must mean you are someone who can be walked over. If you are always available, then your time must not be that valuable. And once they see you that way, something shifts. They start taking you for granted. Think about the last time you did something kind for someone. Maybe you covered for them at work. Maybe you lent them money. Maybe you listened to their problems for hours. The first time they were grateful. The second time they were still thankful. But by the fifth time? The 10th? The 50th? Did they still appreciate it, or did they start expecting it? Because that's what happens when you give too much without boundaries. People stop seeing it as kindness. They just assume it's what you do. And then one day, when you finally decide to say no, when you finally stand up for yourself, they react with anger, with confusion, with resentment. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you changed the rules of the game. You broke the pattern they got used to. They never thought about how much you were doing for them until you stopped. And instead of realizing they should have been grateful all along, they feel like something was taken from them. And that's when the disrespect starts to show. It's subtle at first. Maybe they don't listen as closely when you speak. Maybe they interrupt you more often. Maybe they stop considering your feelings the way they once did. But over time, it becomes clearer. They expect your kindness, but offer nothing in return. They take but never give. They use you but don't value you. And the worst part, they might not even realize they're doing it. People treat us the way we allow them to. If you always say yes, they will assume you never once say no. If you never ask for anything in return, they will assume you don't need anything. If you never stand up for yourself, they will assume you don't deserve to. And this isn't just about individual relationships. This happens in workplaces, in friendships, in families, in romantic relationships. At work, if you're always the one staying late, always the one taking on extra tasks, at first, people admire you. But soon, they just expect it. And when you finally push back, they don't thank you for all the times you helped. They just get frustrated that you won't do it now. In friendships, if you're always the one listening, the one making the plans, the one checking in, what happens? You start to realize that if you stopped, the friendship might just fade away. Because it was never about mutual effort, it was about what you were willing to give. In relationships, if you're always compromising, always putting the other person first, always making sacrifices, what happens? At first, your partner loves you for it. But then, they start expecting it. And the moment you ask for something for yourself, they react as if you are being selfish. The truth is, people value what they have to work for. They respect what has boundaries. They appreciate what they know they could lose. And if you give endlessly without limits, without expectations, without asking for respect in return, people will stop seeing your kindness as a gift and start seeing it as just who you are. Something they don't need to acknowledge. something they don't need to respect. This doesn't mean you should stop being kind. Kindness is a strength, but only when it is given intentionally with self-respect. True kindness isn't about giving endlessly. It's about giving in a way that is sustainable. It's about giving while also expecting respect. It's about helping others while making sure you are not being used. You don't need to stop being kind to be respected. You just need to pair your kindness with boundaries. You need to teach people how to treat you. You need to show them that your time is valuable, that your energy is valuable, that your kindness is not something they can take for granted. It starts with small changes. Saying no when you need to, asking for what you deserve, expecting reciprocity, refusing to tolerate disrespect. And when you start doing these things, you will notice something shift. The people who only valued you because they could take from you, they will start to disappear. The people who truly appreciate you, they will step up. They will respect you more. They will give back. Because real relationships, real friendships, real partnerships, real respect are built on mutual effort. Not one person giving endlessly while the other just takes. Being kind should never mean being weak. It should never mean being taken advantage of. It should never mean losing yourself in the process of helping others. The most respected people in the world are not the ones who give without limits. They are the ones who give wisely. They are the ones who help but also expect respect. They are the ones who are kind, but not at the cost of their own self-worth. So if you've ever felt like your kindness is being taken for granted, if you've ever felt like people respect you less because you are too nice, remember this: the problem is not your kindness. The problem is the way you allow people to treat you. You deserve to be kind and to be respected. You deserve to give and to receive. You deserve to help others while also valuing yourself. And the moment you start setting boundaries, the moment you start standing up for your own worth, is the moment people will start seeing your kindness as what it truly is, a gift, not an expectation. Because at the end of the day, kindness is powerful, but only when it comes from a place of strength, not from a place of fear. Be kind, but be kind with confidence. Be kind with respect. Be kind in a way that honors who you are. And watch how the world begins to respect you in return.